Gavin, I heard you throw out your and kind of ask Natola, what's your wish list? Give me your name. I'm going to give you my 7. This is my own personal gang of 7. Doesn't quite match up to Brian's. But this is my gang of 7 wish list. And all I want is 3 of them for the Cowboys. And I've kind of done this as some combination of what might the Cowboys like, who do they have connections with, who do I like, who has brought us some Kavanaugh, kind of said, hey, I've seen him on film. So here's my list of 7, and I just want 3 of them. You ready?
Ready.
Number 1.
Okay.
Get me Patrick Peterson. And this is a guy who's been a $13 million a year player. And I absolutely recognize cap-wise that's not cap-friendly for anybody. That's not just Dallas. That probably at this point at age 30, is he 30 or 31? Something
31?
like that. You know, at age 31, does the team want to go sign Patrick Peterson to a $13 million a year, 4-year contract? I would say maybe no team does. But we are under the understanding that there's been some level of contact there. So that's a start. Frankly, Brian, I don't care if he plays safety or corner. Roll him in here. He'd be the best corner here, and he'd be the best safety here. So either way is fine with me. Don't you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, there's people that believe that watch him twice a year that say that he's can still play corner.
Good. He can also come here and be a big brother to Diggs. You know, that whole secondary might be a bunch of kids, the way it's going. So let him be the big brother of all the kids, and then to the dollars and cents of it. And you guys, I thought, not only represented the Cowboy fan who's a little frustrated by this but I think you're explaining it well, that even General Manager Brian Broaddus wishes that they put some money on a credit card and go buy some players that would make them better. Isn't that a good way to say it, Brian?
Yeah, I wish they honestly would figure out a way to be able to do both, to draft, be good at that, and also figure out how to add 1 or 2 guys a year that can make a difference, that can supplement and take pressure off you having to draft.
Okay, and there is a way to do that. When people say the Cowboys are cheap, that's wrong. They're going to spend $180 million, just like everybody else.
They just paid Dak, so they're not cheap.
Right. They're conservative, and there's a gigantic difference. Conservative means, for instance, that when I go buy a new TV set, I pay cash for it. I conserve my money, and I pay cash for a TV, so I don't have to put it on a future credit card. But what we're arguing here with Patrick Peterson, maybe he's an $8 million a year guy, I don't know, is that you would have to put that on a credit card. You'd have to go flip another contractual switch with Amari Cooper or Tank Lawrence or whatever in order to find him, in order to afford him. And then, Gavin, you would have to pay the piper sometime down the line when Tank Lawrence was still being paid on your team at the age of 33. And then we'll all gripe about it. But in the immediacy of it, Brian's right. Patrick Peterson would make your team better enough that you can put up with the pain of 2025 when Tank Lawrence is still on your cap and not playing. That's my 100%. Argument for Patrick Peterson.
I mean, okay. Bad years happen. They've had 3 of them over the last 11 seasons. So my approach to that would be, use the credit card, get the players for now, time it out to where all of your dead money is in the same year. So while you cleanse your cap, you end up with a top 5 pick, and then the next year, along with that top 5 pick, you got tons of cap space to go try to do it again.
There you go.
Okay, that's good thinking. Okay, here's my next guy, KJ Wright, and again, this is a Dan Quinn connection guy. He's been a Sam recently, but Brian, he's done it all at linebacker. I think if they didn't have Bobby Wagner, people might think that KJ Wright had been a star for the last 10 years. Because he's been pretty darn good, but he gets overshadowed by Bobby Wagner there. Find a way to afford KJ Wright, and especially, I don't know that the Cowboys think of it this way, but I do. Are you completely? You know exactly what you're going to get out of Leighton Vander Esch here? I don't. You know what you're going to get out of Jalen Smith? I don't. Joe Thomas, he's gone, and Sean Lee, I don't know if he's here. This team actually needs a player like KJ Wright who can play multiple positions, understands the defense is going to play, and he'd been around a little bit. I want to find a way to afford KJ Wright, and I think that's an obvious connection with Dan Quinn. I think it's pretty easy to predict that they've touched base there. That's 2.
That's the caliber of player that I feel like the Patriots are talking to, the Buccaneers are talking to, the Chiefs. You know, We have a lot of teams in the NFL that are contenders that are up against the cap and are finding ways to make things happen. I don't know. Maybe the Cowboys just don't think their team's good enough.
Well, I'll give you the two. The two that stand out are the Chiefs and the Saints. The Chiefs and the Saints are proof that the cap is real, but cap hell isn't real. And the Cowboys, I would be encouraged if the Cowboys would inch their way a little bit that way. You guys have mentioned Keanu Neal. The Cowboys have touched base with him. Again, Brian, safety or a kind of a hybrid linebacker, I don't care. But that's a guy who was a first-round pick who knows this defensive coordinator, who fits into this defense. Agreed?
Yeah, he understands the defensive coordinator for sure.
Kevin King is an old McCarthy guy. I guess he's not old. He was doing fine in Green Bay until the playoffs. And then he had a major blowout in the playoffs as a cornerback. I don't think he's a very good – pardon me?
He sent him home.
Yeah.
Before halftime and then another touchdown. He got tore up by Tampa.
Okay, therefore I can afford him. Right? That's a solid player who a lot of people should be going – I would think be going, boy, I looked at him – last time I saw him on film, he wasn't very good. Fine. You know what the albatross around his neck is in Green Bay? He's got the Taco Charlton thing going for him. They beat him up there because, if I'm recalling this right, they took Kevin King instead of taking T.J. Watt. And so put him on my list. And again, all I'm asking for, Cowboys, is 3 of these 7. I want Aldon Smith back on the cheap. Brian, I'm interested, if you don't mind asking your gang of 7 one of these days. I don't think Aldon Smith is on a bunch of teams, and is on all the teams' radars.
There might be some off-the-field stuff, Michael, you need to dig in on.
Yeah, and I think other teams think, you know, good.
Oh, they know.
His life around.
They know.
Yeah. There's some buts there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The Cowboys need to know that better than anybody, and I think find the right price for him. Gerald McCoy is somebody that they're interested in bringing back. Stephen Jones has been on this radio station and said it. And then, number 7, Alex Smith should be my backup quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys in 2021.
I'm in. I'll drink to that fish.
Give me 3 of those 7, Gavin. Put a little bit on a credit card, and the Cowboys have a chance to catch up with Washington, which needs not Super Bowl yet, just catch up with Washington in the NFC East. And 3 of those 7 guys, I think, can help you do it.